Not every fire begins with a match. Some begin with a rumor, a speech, a whisper, a finger pointing at someone who speaks differently, someone whose home lies beyond a river drawn on a map. At first it is only a murmur. Then the murmur gathers voices. The voices gather anger, and before anyone notices, flames are running through streets without smoke, consuming not houses alone, but names, dreams, friendships, and the fragile belief that tomorrow will surely come. It began like any other Monday. The morning sun painted Johannesburg in shades of gold. Birds sang as though the world were still at peace. Tariro ironed the children's school uniforms, while humming the hymn she and Tawanda had first sung across the garden fence years before. She smiled to herself. Tomorrow she was due to report to the guest lodge for her new position. She had already folded her few best clothes into a neat pile and imagined calling, "Go with the good news." Then the television interrupted the music. The newsreader's voice was calm, but the images behind him were anything but. Crowds marched through the streets. Shops were being looted. Windows shattered. People ran in every direction. The caption on the screen read, "Foreign nationals targeted in fresh wave of violence." Mrs. Daniels turned up the volume. "Oh no," she whispered. Tariro felt her stomach tighten. By lunchtime the neighborhood had changed. The laughter of children had been replaced by the wail of sirens. Helicopters circled overhead like restless vultures. The security guard from across the street rushed through the gate. "They're attacking foreigners in the next suburb?" he shouted. "Tell everyone to stay indoors." Within minutes, phone calls began pouring in. "Have you heard? They burnt Saifo's tug shop. They attacked the taxi rank. Someone was beaten just for speaking Shona." Rumors spread faster than truth. No one knew what was happening anymore. Only that fear had arrived. That evening, Tariro tried calling Tawanda. No answer. Again. Nothing. Again. His phone was switched off. She held little Rumbed's eye close. "Your father will come," she whispered, though her own voice lacked conviction. Hours passed. The front gate creaked open just before midnight. Tawanda stepped inside. His shirt was torn. His face bruised. One eye swollen. "Tawanda." She rushed to him. "What happened?" He forced a weak smile. "I ran." He sank onto the sofa, exhausted. "They asked where I came from," I answered. "They said I didn't belong." He lowered his head. "I've worked in this country for 12 years. I have planted gardens, built fences, paid taxes, prayed in its churches. And today," his voice broke, "they told me to go home." For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Sometimes silence mourns better than words. The following morning, Tariro received a phone call. It was from the guest lodge. Her heart leapt. Surely they were confirming her first day. Instead, the manager sounded apologetic. "Tariro, I'm so sorry. Our insurance company has advised us to suspend all new appointments until the situation settles." "I understand," she whispered. "No, you don't." There was genuine sadness in his voice. "You earned this job, but we can't guarantee anyone's safety right now." The line went dead. Tariro stared at the phone. The opportunity she had prayed for, the promotion that would have changed her family's future, had vanished before she had even stepped through the door. She quietly folded the new uniform she had ironed the night before, then placed it back into the wardrobe. Unworn. A dream still wrapped in plastic. Days became weeks. The violence spread. Some employers quietly dismissed their foreign workers, fearing trouble. Others wanted to help but could do little. The streets no longer felt familiar. Every knock at the gate made hearts race. Every siren sounded closer than the last. Every goodbye carried the weight of uncertainty. One afternoon, Mrs. Kumalo arrived unexpectedly. She embraced Tariro tightly. "The Zimbabwean government is sending buses." Tariro stared at her. "Buses?" "Yes, to take people home." Home. The word struck her like both comfort and defeat. She had dreamed of returning one day, but not like this. not empty-handed, not chased away, not leaving behind everything she had built. That evening she packed their belongings in silence. Baby clothes, family photographs, the little Bible Gogo had given her, her savings book, her promotion letter. She held it for a long time before placing it gently into the suitcase. Some dreams deserve to travel home, even if they never come true. As she folded Tawanda's shirts, a small envelope slipped onto the floor. She bent down to pick it up. Inside was another photograph. Not the one she had seen years before. This one was newer. A woman with 3 children smiling. The youngest looked about 8 years older than Rumbeidzai. On the back, written in fading blue ink, were the words, "To our loving husband and father, we are waiting for you. Come home soon." The room began to spin. Her hands trembled. No, no, this could not be. She heard the front door open. Tawanda walked in carrying a small bag of groceries. He stopped the moment he saw the photograph in her hands. Neither spoke. The truth had entered the room before either of them could. "Who are they?" Tariro whispered. He lowered his eyes.
Silence.
She took one step closer. Tell me." Still silence. Her voice cracked. "Who are they?" At last he answered. "My family." The words fell like stones. "Your what?" "My wife." The room seemed to lose its air. "My children." Everything inside Tariro shattered. "You told me," she gasped. "You said—" "I know," Tawanda said. "You said there was no one." "I know," he said again. "You married me." "I know," Tawanda said. He covered his face with both hands. "I wanted to tell you." "When?" asked Tariro. "When our daughter was born? When we bought baby clothes together? When I dreamed of building a home with you?" "When?" His silence became his confession. She staggered backwards. Every memory replayed itself with new meaning. The late-night phone calls, the hidden photograph, the unanswered questions, the sudden changes of subject. The pieces had always been there. She had simply arranged them into the picture she wanted to believe. "I loved you," she whispered. "I still love you," he replied through tears. She shook her head slowly. "No. You loved yourself. You loved having 2 homes, 2 wives, 2 families waiting." Then Tawanda said, "You asked me to trust you while another woman was still waiting for the husband you had already stolen from her." Tariro's tears flowed freely now. "I thought I was building a home." She looked around the little house they had shared. It was never a home. It was a secret. Outside, another police siren screamed through the streets. Inside, another family collapsed. The fire outside had chased them from the country. The fire inside had burned away everything they believed about each other. Both left ashes. Only one left no smoke. A week later, hundreds of Zimbabweans gathered at the departure point. Suitcases stood in long rows. Children clung to exhausted parents. Some carried mattresses. Others carried only plastic bags. Everyone carried disappointment. As the government buses prepared to leave, Mrs. Kumalo hugged Tariro one final time. "My child," she whispered, "do not let another person's lies become the truth about your own worth." Lucky, now taller and stronger than the frightened boy who had shared half a loaf of bread years earlier, handed Rumbeidzai a small toy carved from wood. "So she remembers that even in hard places, kindness still exists," Lucky said. Tariro smiled through tears. Then she looked back one last time, at the streets where she had learned to survive, at the gardens where she had fallen in love, at the city where she had buried her youth. Johannesburg stood silently beneath the setting sun. It had given her work, it had given her friends, it had given her a daughter. It had taken away her illusions. As the bus pulled away, she rested her forehead against the window. She did not know what awaited her in Zimbabwe. She imagined Gogo waiting with open arms. She imagined Tino finishing school. She imagined Rudo preparing for college. She imagined healing. Sometimes hope returns before truth arrives. And somewhere beyond the border, truth was waiting patiently. not to destroy what remained of Tariro's heart, but to ask whether a heart, once broken, could still become a shelter for others.